Whoa, what a day of football, huh?
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
Arsenal closing the gap, on Liverpool,
Yeah,
down to just 12 points now.
getting interesting.
So there's suddenly a bit of pressure building at the top of the table.
Definitely a
And then if that wasn't enough drama for one day,
right.
we just watched Liverpool get absolutely taken down,
Yes,
shocked.
huge.
Historic defeat to Newcastle
Yeah.
in the Carabao Cup final at Wembley.
At Wembley, I mean.
We watched that game, and honestly,
Newcastle, they just
it just showed up.
showed up.
And they outplayed Liverpool.
Every department.
Every single department.
It was something else.
So let's break it down together.
Yeah,
Okay?
let's do it.
Let's unpack how Newcastle managed to pull this off.
70 years, man.
Their first major domestic trophy in 70 years.
It's hard to even fathom that,
The Carabao Cup final, Wembley Stadium, March 16th, 2025.
A date that will be
Oh, forever etched.
etched in the minds of Newcastle fans.
Generations will be talking about this one.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So many Newcastle fans. I mean, this was the moment, Just thinking about those scenes afterwards.
Oh, the emotion.
Bruno Guimaraes in tears.
Yeah.
That trophy lift with Kieran Trippier
See,
together.
I mean, it wasn't just a trophy,
It was symbolic.
It felt like decades of just this longing and waiting and
all released.
just released. Yeah.
Yeah.
What stood out to you most about the immediate aftermath of that final whistle?
Well, I think the contrast was just so stark, right?
Absolutely.
Like on the one hand, you have this absolute jubilation.
Sea of black and white.
Oh, unbelievable. Just going absolutely bonkers. And then on the other side, you see these Liverpool players heads down.
Dejected.
Just utterly dejected. I mean, it really capped off what honestly can only be described as like a woeful week for Liverpool.
Yeah, they're rough.
Knocked out of the Champions League.
Yeah.
And now this cup final defeat. Yeah, some of the reports I read, they were describing them as a ghost team out there. Like their legs were just gone. And even though the scoreline was 2-1 Newcastle.
It was close.
It was close, but it didn't really tell the whole story.
It didn't reflect at all, really, the dominance that we saw on the pitch.
No. It was a really significant win for Newcastle. I mean, from the first whistle, they just looked like, and this is a common thread we're seeing from analysts.
I was going to say, I saw that too.
Miles more up for it.
Yeah.
Like they wanted it more.
Yeah.
And they delivered, I mean, just a truly special performance. The intensity they brought, Liverpool just couldn't match it.
Couldn't handle it.
There's this one quote that really stuck with me, said that Liverpool offered nothing in that first half.
I mean, what did you make of Liverpool's performance in those first 45?
Yeah.
Because it was
strange to see, I mean, to not register a single shot until the 38th minute of a cup final.
Yikes.
I mean, that's just unheard of.
That's a statement.
It is. And one of the articles we saw called it the worst Liverpool have played under Slot. And I mean,
Wow.
that's a pretty strong statement.
Yeah, bold.
Yeah, it was. It really felt like Newcastle didn't just want to win. They were determined to impose themselves on the game.
Yeah, it was more than just wanting to win.
It was a statement.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because that determination kind of manifested in this really impressive tempo. They had this controlled aggression.
It was, I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
they were just all over them.
Yeah, disrupting Liverpool's rhythm.
Constant pressure.
Yeah, they were winning every midfield battle. Their forwards were finding space, creating problems. It wasn't just about effort, though. There was this tactical coherence to their approach that I felt Liverpool was really lacking.
I mean, and all of that is reflected in what we're seeing from the analysis, right? Like, one of the pieces we read pointed out that Newcastle outplayed Liverpool in every department and could easily be more than 2 goals ahead by the end of the match.
Oh, easily. I mean, they had so many chances.
Yeah, they could have run away with it.
Yeah, they could have.
So let's talk about some of the key moments in this game.
All right.
Starting with that Dan Burn goal right before halftime.
Oh, man.
That felt huge, right?
Huge.
Just psychologically?
Psychologically, yeah. So the corner comes in.
Yep.
And Dan Burn, who, as we know, is just an absolute force in both boxes, somehow gets
a guy's like a tree.
I know. And delivers this, I mean, people were calling it incredible, this header right into the bottom corner.
Textbook header.
And the Newcastle fans, I mean, just erupted. bedlam.
I bet.
I can only imagine what that sounded like in the stadium.
Oh, it would have been electric.
Yeah. And what was really interesting was in some of the post-match analysis, they were talking about McAllister's marking on that play. And for a guy who's so tall,
You'd think he'd be.
you would think, right, he was left with so much space.
Unmarked?
Yeah.
So, a crucial time to score, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just damaging for Liverpool to go into halftime down like that.
Yeah, you could see it in their body language.
Yep.
And then early in the second half, you had that disallowed goal by Isak.
Right.
He puts it in the back of the net after a save from the keeper.
Great play.
Yeah, but the flag goes up.
Offside.
Well, they called it for obstruction on Guimaraes. They said he was blocking the goalkeeper's view.
So he was in the way.
Yeah, it was a really tight one, though. And, those are always going to be debatable.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Some people are going to see it one way, other people are going to see it the other way.
And it could have been a real momentum killer for Newcastle, but credit to them, they bounced right back.
They didn't let it get to them.
Not at all. Just a few minutes later, in the 53rd minute, Isak does find the net. And, this was a fantastic goal.
This one counted.
The build-up play was so sharp, and his finish was just clinical. Low and hard into the corner. No chance for the keeper.
That felt like the moment.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Newcastle they're really putting their stamp on this game now.
Yeah.
But then you have that massive save from Nick Pope denying Curtis Jones.
Oh, that was huge.
That'd have been a real turning point.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Jones had just come on, unleashed this rocket towards the top corner, and Pope just gets a fingertip to it, tips it over the bar. Wonderful stop. And at that point, with Newcastle 2 goals up, conceding a goal then could have given Liverpool that lifeline.
Shifted the momentum, giving them that little bit of belief.
Absolutely. That save really preserved their advantage.
It was one of those moments where you could almost hear the collective gasp, right?
Oh, yeah.
From the Newcastle fans, and then just this eruption of relief.
Yeah, just like, ooh, okay, we're still good.
Okay, we're still good. And then right at the death, 94th minute.
Oh, man.
Chiesa pulls one back for Liverpool.
Heartbreaker.
And of course, there's a lengthy VAR check.
Of course there is.
Which, for Newcastle supporters, must have been agonizing.
Oh, those VAR checks in the dying minutes are just killer.
The tension is unreal.
Just waiting.
Nail biting.
So the goal did end up standing, but thankfully for Newcastle, it was so late in the game that it didn't really change anything.
Too little, too late.
Exactly. And what's funny is that just before that, Chiesa had another goal disallowed for offside.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so for a second there, everyone thought, oh, here we go, we're going to have this crazy grandstand finish.
Down to the wire.
But it wasn't to be. By that point, time was just not on Liverpool's side.
All right, so, looking at some of the individual performances from Newcastle, Joel Twinton he was everywhere.
Oh, he was immense.
He was immense.
So many people were saying he was sensational, fundamental to how dominant they were in the midfield. And he even won a bunch of Man of the Match awards.
Rightfully so. That guy was...
Oh, he was all over the place. Energy, tackling, driving forward with the ball, you name it, he did it. Crucial blocks, even had a couple of chances to score himself.
He really set the tone for how Newcastle played,
Yeah, absolutely. He was the engine.
Yeah, and Isak, who... what a season he's been having.
Simply special.
Simply special. Another goal, it felt well-deserved.
Oh, yeah.
Just a constant threat with his pace and movement.
He leads that line so effectively. Holds the ball up, brings other players into the game, and of course that finish, so composed.
Ice in his veins.
Ice in his veins. And let's not forget about Dan Burn. Not only did he score that crucial opener, but he was just rock solid at the back.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Really shut down Liverpool's attack.
Absolutely. And you can't talk about this game without talking about the emotion, the raw emotion for Bruno Guimaraes after the final whistle.
Oh, my goodness.
Talking about wanting to put my name in history at Newcastle.
Yeah.
Be remembered like Alan Shearer.
The legend.
And the fact that Shearer sent him a good luck message before the game.
Oh, I love that.
It just shows you, what it means, that connection to the club's legends.
Yeah, and it's another really interesting layer to this? Eddie Howe. He's the first English manager to win a major trophy since Harry Redknapp back in 2008.
Wow, that long, huh?
And if you want to talk about the League Cup specifically, you have to go all the way back to Steve McLaren in 2004.
Wow.
So, that just speaks to the significance of what Howe has achieved.
The job he's done at Newcastle is incredible.
Incredible, yeah. And then, there were reports of him being so classy, consoling the Liverpool players afterwards.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, just, speaks volumes about his character.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So turning to Liverpool, it's hard to ignore the fact that some of their key players just didn't show up.
No, they didn't.
Salah, Szoboszlai, McAllister.
All just so flat.
Just so flat, yeah. I thought someone say there should be a missing poster for Salah because he was so quiet.
He was a ghost. I mean, it's not often you see these guys so influential all season just disappear in a big game. They couldn't find any rhythm, couldn't create chances. Slot tried to change things up.
Substitutions, tactical adjustments.
Yeah, but at one point it felt like their formation was just chaotic, like they were throwing everything at the wall to see what would stick.
Desperate.
Yeah, a bit desperate. And the analysis of their front three was pretty harsh. One piece called them bystanders, just watching the game happen around them.
Not the dynamic, high-pressing Liverpool attack that we're used to seeing.
Not even close.
No, it was night and day.
Yeah.
And, it wouldn't be a cup final without mentioning the atmosphere at Wembley.
The roar of the crowd.
Incredible. A real Wembley roar.
Oh, yeah. And especially from the Newcastle supporters, I mean, they were witnessing history.
I can only imagine.
Bruno Guimaraes said it felt like the World Cup for them. So many of those fans have never seen their team lift a major trophy in their lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, that image of Guimaraes and Trippier.
Putting the trophy together.
The joint lift.
First time that's happened for a Newcastle captain in 70 years.
It was a powerful image.
Really captured the collective joy.
And of a very long wait.
Very long wait.
Just a special moment for everyone connected with Newcastle.
It really was. So just to underline what we've been talking about, this was a monumental victory for Newcastle, finally ending that agonizing 70-year trophy drought. And it wasn't a fluke. It was a dominant performance. They truly outplayed a very good Liverpool side who just didn't look themselves on the big stage.
No, they didn't. So leaves us with the final thought, right?
Okay, hit me.
Liverpool, they have a comfortable lead in the Premier League.
They do.
But this defeat, coupled with their recent, little dip in form.
A little bit of a wobble.
How much is that going to impact their confidence, their momentum?
Yeah.
Going into the final stretch of the season?
It's a good question.
Yeah, and then for Newcastle, this is huge for them.
Massive.
But will this be a springboard to future success?
Right.
Or is this just going to be a singular, albeit glorious...
A flash in the pan.
Yeah, moment in their history. Definitely something to ponder.
Definitely something to think about.
Okay, well, thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
My pleasure, as always. It was a great game to dissect.
Until next time.
See you then.